filmmaker you want me to be filmmaker? Let's talk about it. This week, I thought we would run through a list of 20 film suggestions, films that I think everybody should see. I figured I'd do this as opposed to trying to come up with the top 20 favorite films list because I couldn't do it. I'd rather just suggest 20 films as opposed to lock myself into saying these are my top 20 because I was trying to narrow it down and it's nearly impossible. However, this list is very close to my top 20. These films are films that I love, films that evoked an emotion in me, that started some kind of inspiration, that I don't think is duplicated in any other film. There are a couple obscure films in here that I don't think most people have seen, but a lot of them are very accessible, so I think everyone should try to see at least one of these, because I think they're all fantastic. So, if you're looking for something to watch on a Saturday night, these are 20 movies that I think everyone should see. So, let's start with number 20. Number 20, Fantastic Mr. Fox. I love this film. It's a fantastic, feel-good, stop-motion family movie directed by Wes Anderson, based on Roald Dahl's book. It's a great family movie that stresses the importance of overcoming differences to achieve a common goal, and damn if it's not one of the most quotable movies I've ever seen. Number 19, Raising Arizona. Raising Arizona is my personal favorite film from the Coen brothers. Nick Cage and Holly Hunter kill it in this movie as a couple that just wants to have a baby. I love the moral gray area that this film lives in, and I love the fun-loving, outrageous spirit that it has. Number 18, we need to talk about Kevin. This film with Ezra Miller, aka the new Flash, is on Netflix right now. It's super disturbing and dark and well executed. This film had my jaw on the floor the entire time, and it makes you scared for the delicate job of parenting. I think this film is absolutely breathtaking and terrifying in a way that no other film is. Number 17, The Graduate. This film, also on Netflix, is considered an old classic. It's a smaller film about the transition period of becoming an adult and coming into your own, as well as trying to find love. Diving into the idea that transitioning is a hard thing to do, and that realization comes in all shapes and sizes. This film always manages to put a smile on my face. Number 16, Filth. Don't watch this with your mom, but watch it. This film dives deep into the psyche of a man who's lost everything. It's one of my favorite mental illness films, and it shows James McAvoy at, I think, his best. This is also on Netflix, and watch it alone. Number 15, The Machinist. This film, also about mental illness, keeps you on the edge of your seat the whole way with a twist at the end that you don't see coming, and it keeps you guessing the whole way through to get to that twist. I've never seen an actor commit themselves physically more in a film than Christian Bale in this one. It has some of the most dark and gritty settings I've ever seen, and like the past two, it can be viewed on the net of flicks. Number 14, Her. Besides some of the most beautiful cinematography I've ever seen, this film attempts to do something that is super hard nowadays, which is explore modern love in its ever-changing state that it currently is in. I think this film does it so well without beating you over the head with the idea. It shows that love can come from anywhere, even if you don't expect it or necessarily want it. Number 13, Enemy. Not only a great performance from Jake Gyllenhaal, this film is the first one that put Denis Villeneuve, who's one of my current favorite directors, on my map. The density and metaphorical imagery in this film seems to put people off, but all it did was intrigue me more. I urge you to watch this film, and tell me what you think some of the things mean. I think this film is ripe for discussion, and it needs to be discussed. Number 12, Prisoners. Also by Denis Villeneuve, Prisoners is a terrifying look into the cruel capabilities of humans who have lost too much to bear it any longer. With outstanding performances from Gyllenhaal, Hugh Jackman, and Paul Dano, this film was a knockout. My favorite film of 2013 had me on the floor the entire 3-hour runtime. Number 11, American History X. I cried watching this film. This film was a heartbreakingly beautiful look into how your environment and the people you associate yourself with can change your core beliefs and your morals. Not only that, how you can change when you never even thought possible. This film is just as relevant today as it was back in the 90s, and it begs all the right questions of the viewer. Halfway. Number 10, Room. This film came out last year, and it was the most surreal theater experience I've ever had. This film was a tear-jerking expression of the love that a mother has for her child and the things she'll do to keep him safe. Not only does it keep you engaged the entire runtime, it makes you think of the conventions of filmmaking and how they can be intelligently broken to create an overall better film. Number 9, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. My favorite Western of all time makes you fall in love with one of the greatest dynamic duos in film history. Not only do you feel like you're on these adventures with these men, you care about them when they're in dangerous situations, which is the mark of a good character. Number 8, Goodfellas. My favorite Martin Scorsese film is a darkly comedic look at the underbelly of the mob organization with some of the worst people imaginable. Not only is this film based on real events, which grounds the film, it shows us that even the worst kind of people have redeeming qualities, and that sometimes it really pays off to think before you act. Number 7, Moon. If my love for this movie isn't apparent enough, watch Subject 63, my second short film, and you'll see the absolute influence that it has on that. With some of the most amazingly written, isolated characters, this film makes me wish that I could one day make something half as intriguing. Number 6, 50-50. Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Seth Rogen have amazing chemistry in this oddly funny movie about cancer. And to me, if you make a funny and not offensive film about something as serious as cancer, that deserves you some notoriety in its own. Aside from that, the film tugs at your heartstrings as you watch these everyday people go through life and just the crap that they get thrown their way. Number 5, Nightcrawler. This film showcases the absolute raw talent that Jake Gyllenhaal possesses. Not only do you never see Jake Gyllenhaal on screen in this film, you only see his character, because that is how chameleonic he is in this film. The laser-focused direction and cinematography of this film echoes the internal drive of the main character. My favorite film of 2014 is highly underrated and highly underviewed. This film is a terrifying reminder that when a line is set in the sand, crossing it makes you pay the price. Another morally gray 2-hour thrill ride. This film is intense the entire way through, and it can also be found on Netflix. Number 4, Star Wars: The Empire Strikes Back. What can I say? It's the best film of the franchise. If you haven't seen it already, just leave. I'm waiting. Leave. I'll do this all day. Close the door. Close the door on your way out. We'll email you your last check. Bye. Number 3, 12 Angry Men. My favorite black and white film, this movie takes place all in one room and is unbelievably engaging and exciting. Begging the question, how young is too young to be considered a killer? Showing us that 12 ordinary men can come together to prove that humanity will always win out in the end. I love this film. Number 2, Indiana Jones: Raiders of the Lost Ark. This film inspired me to be a filmmaker, showing us our heroes can be strong, but they need weaknesses for us to care about them when they're in these tense situations. If you don't care about your character and if you basically just think they're invincible, it's not going to be interesting when we watch them get their ass handed to them. Revolutionary in every way, you can watch this film just about any time and it'll put a smile on your face. I never get sick of this film. And number 1, my favorite film of all time, Seven. Number 1 is Seven. Even though portions of this film have become vines, I still think this film as a whole is criminally underseen. This film manages to put me on the edge of my seat every time I watch it, and it teaches me more and more about filmmaking every time I see it. Using camera movements and angles to convey emotional beats, as well as story elements, David Fincher drives this film with purpose and meaning in every second. And that's all we can really hope to do. I mean, in the end, filmmaking, the goal is to get you to care about fake characters, have real emotions for fake characters, and be invested in the story. And if a movie can do that, I think it's done its job. The way I look at it is, I have all these movies, and I bought textbooks, basically. Each time I watch one of them, I learn something. And I think that's how we should view movies as filmmakers. Each time you watch one, something you can learn, something you can take away, something you can apply to your own films. Thank you guys so much for watching, and if you like what you saw here, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. This has been a Runaway Brand production, and I'll see you guys next time.